Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I still look like I either have a hangover or just rolled out of bed. And because I enjoyed Tyler Perry's Boo! Madea Halloween so much, I went out there and watched the 2009 release of Tyler Perry's Madea Goes to Jail. I can understand why people hated on this movie. This movie is not really all that much about Madea going to jail. The character and story of Madea is paralleled by the character and story of an African-American DA and his friend from the same neighborhood who didn't have such a good life. Became a prostitute. So you have the perspective of two people, one of them having conquered the ghetto, left the ghetto, and become a respectable member of society, and then another person who did their absolute best to get out of the ghetto and wound up back in the ghetto. And the problem is that there's the Madea story, which is a comedy about a woman who has anger and control issues, did all right for having to deal with a terrible situation, and now is the kind of person you don't want to screw with. That would be Madea. And then you've got these two other characters in this very deep drama about the impoverished experience in America. You might say, because this has a predominantly African-American cast, you might say that this is an African-American experience. I really think it's more to do with poverty than race. So I'm going to call it the impoverished experience. You could disagree with me. Okay, that's perfectly cool. But this as a movie, again, it is essentially what one would refer to as a Brechtian film. In that, I mean, not a lot of people know who Brecht is, because Brecht was crazy. And Brecht was a playwright who didn't want his audience to feel things. He wanted to be able to tell them what was going on and relay the world without them feeling. So he would discuss really, really powerful topics like war, poverty, death, starvation, and then he would distract you with comedy and song. Now, Madea does not distract you with comedy and song, but she does distract you with comedy. So there is a Brechtian element, although I could tell you that Mr. Perry is not a student of Brecht. So there's that. You have in this the two parallel stories, the very, very dark, gritty, and painful story of the DA and his friend Candace, who is now a prostitute, and the more uplifting, funny story of the indestructible Madea. Now, I would actually compare this film to Requiem for a Dream, because it is a very unsettling and bothersome film. It's a difficult film to watch. I don't think I would ever want to watch this movie again, and I didn't laugh out loud once, which is bad because this is a comedy, but let's just be clear. I don't laugh much. I'm a dude sitting here with a facehugger from Alien on my neck, talking about Tyler Perry. So that's weird. I'm not a guy that laughs. I have seen a lot of negative things in my lifetime. I have dealt with the poor. I have dealt with prostitutes. This movie is, it's like looking back on a day of my own life. It's so horrific. But it is a movie I think we should all kind of watch. I think the critics got it wrong. I actually think this is a really good movie. It's a really good movie in the way Requiem for a Dream is a really good movie. It's a movie I wouldn't want to see a second time, but a really good movie. And, I mean, there's an actor by the name of Derek Luke who plays Hardaway. Hardaway? Yes, Hardaway. He plays Hardaway, and he's the lawyer. And he is the most pressed actor in terms of needing to give a good performance. And he gives that performance. You look on a man who has done so many things right in his life. He has made his life better. He has gotten to be a pillar of the community. And then he still has this, at least one truly horrific personal demon. And that demon is just gripping at his soul. Now, there are elements I dislike about this film, and it's hard for me to talk about them because they're plot elements that happen later. They are plot elements that, in my opinion, one of the problems with this film is it's like you can't take care of a friend who's of the opposite gender without there being sexual tension. And I don't believe that. I believe I most certainly can take care of friends without sexual tension, because let me tell you something. Right now, in my bedroom, there are 2 cats, a male and a female. And they belong to a friend of mine who lost her job and is homeless. She is also a lesbian, considerably older than me, and smokes. All things I don't look for in a woman. So I can guarantee you there is no sexual tension between myself and this particular individual. I am simply helping her out because she is a friend. So when I look at this movie, I dislike elements that prove, it's like, yes, dude, it's a sexual. It's like, no. I don't think that was good of Perry to put that in there. Although it is his story, he is the author. I dislike that particular element, but it's not so that it ruined the film for me. Again, this film is much better than Boo and Madea Halloween in that I feel it has a much stronger and clearer element on what being a decent human being is. It also talks about how truly horrific the world of prostitutes is. If you know anything about that, it's like, things we're not allowed to talk about in videos because it is so horrific. But that's not the point. In any case, look, say what you will about Tyler Perry. The guy is a theater geek, apparently. So he started this off as a play, and he was a person who played Madea, I think. But what you do with these films is you say, yes, they are films that talk about the American experience in the modern day. And I think they're very important to watch. So yeah, I'm actually going to give Tyler Perry's Madea Goes to Jail 2 thumbs up. I thought this was a great film. I know that may surprise people because I hate everything, but I can't argue with it. It's just what it was. Anyway, that is just my opinion, and I know that somebody is going to be really upset with me about this opinion, so I would love to hear it down in the comments below. Remember, no matter how rude you are still helping me out by interacting with my channel. So just bear that in mind. I am Richard Leland Neal.